to the cloud. Okay, folks. So we have Bradley here today. I met Bradley about 3 months ago. So it was over a phone conversation first. And we talked about, essentially, we were talking about Paidalajin, and then he mentioned that he is also practicing Shivambu therapy. And I was sort of shocked because that word, even in India, very few people know. It comes out of India. And he knew this word. And I knew exactly what it was. But it was so surprising that he has gone into the depth of this technique. So without much further ado, I'll let Bradley go on and explain to us what it is. And Bradley, first, why is it called Shivambu? What does it really mean?
Shivambu. Oh, that's a great question, Shri. You start me off looking quite ignorant. I'm not sure why it's called Shivambu, actually. Um, I've read books on the topic of urine therapy, and it's usually referred to in some circles as Shivambu and or urine therapy.
So Shivambu comes, so in Sanskrit, you combine words. So it is Shiva, first word, and I think most everybody has heard the word Shiva, right? This is one of the supreme deities of Hindu. And then Ambu means water. So it's really Shiva's pee. That's what really it means.
I see.
Powerful. It has the power of Shiva in it.
Well, it certainly has a lot of power in it. It's true. So urine therapy, I'll just jump right in it. Urine therapy is the process of re-ingesting one's own waters. That is urine therapy in a broad nutshell. Similar to leaves dropping from a tree in the fall, only to be consumed into the soil and back into the tree. It is very similar to that. Now, an obvious first question for anyone listening would be, why would you drink your own urine or re-ingest your own urine? And I'll get to the different modes of re-ingestion. And the reason is that urine is a powerful liquid, tailor-made for us. Your urine is going to be for you, mine, for me, etc. We are generally taught and programmed growing up that urine, as well as what comes out the back end, our feces, are both waste products. Those are our two modes of waste and elimination. What I've come to find out through urine therapy and all of my research is that what comes out the back end is waste, very much so. In fact, it comes out the back end because you're not meant to see it, you're not meant to use it. It comes out the back, you walk forward. What comes out the front end is meant to be seen, used, and re-ingested. So it's a bit of a paradigm shift for many to even hear that. The urine and the feces are so closely tied generally. It's hard to separate the two. So, but let me explain, because we're taught that they're both channels of elimination, what comes out the front and what comes out the back. What comes out the back is an elimination channel. What comes out the front is a regulatory channel. Two entirely different systems within the body. So let me explain what urine is. Urine is ultrafiltrate blood plasma. So if you've ever been to the doctor's office or had blood drawn. Sometimes they'll put that blood in a centrifuge. It'll spin around, and those red blood cells will separate from the ultrafiltrate blood plasma, that yellow stuff on top. That yellow stuff is urine. So in a very real sense, your urine is part and parcel your blood, what's flowing through you. It gets filtered through the liver and then also filtered through the kidneys. And the kidneys have these small little filters called nephrons, which it goes through. So when you urinate, you are urinating a distilled, structured liquid. And mostly all of us just waste it away, throw it down the toilet. But it's actually very useful. Urine has over 2,000 identifiable compounds that we know of found in it. It is a snapshot of your blood in that moment, what's going on with your body. And your blood, as you know, is what carries a bunch of information throughout your body, different nutrients, hormones, enzymes, vitamins. So naturally, that's in your urine. And what I was saying earlier, that channel is a regulatory system. So why do we even urinate? If this is all good stuff in it, why would we even urinate? Well, we have excess many of the times. So when our bladder gets full and we have excess amount of blood, ultrafiltrate blood plasma, we urinate. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means we have too much of the good stuff right now. And so a way to, all of us on this platform right now are on our own healing journey. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't the case. And healing involves physical healing, mental healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, and all the different layers of it. And what I found is through practicing Shivambu and urine therapy, that it has given me so much more energy to continue on that healing journey. So if I'm creating all sorts of vitamins, minerals, hormones within my body, this costs energy. My body is using up energy to create these things. And then I pee it out. And if I waste that pee, well, then my body has to create those things again. And the loop continues over and over. But if I take that back in, all those 2,000 identifiable compounds plus, and those are hormones, vitamins, enzymes, the gamut. My body no longer has to create those. It's basically like a recycling program for myself. And it's a snapshot of what's going on in my body because, like I said earlier, the blood is what's going all throughout the body, getting information from all the different parts, gathering information. And when I re-ingest that, my body knows exactly what to do with that because it's been through the whole body before and been filtered out. So how to re-ingest it? Re-ingestion can take place in a myriad of ways. Basically, it can go in any hole that you have. Most people who practice this drink it. That is an easy way to do it. People use it for eye drops. People use it topically on their skin. People use it eardrops. People use it for enemas to help clean their colons. People do foot baths with it, spray it on their body, wash their hair with it. There's a myriad of uses in a actually quite a rich history of urine. When it comes to different societies, the Romans would save it. There were urine taxes. They knew how valuable it was. They would use it for washing clothes. So, and even today in our culture, it's also highly sought after. Many porta potties collect it and sell it to cosmetic companies. So urine has a compound called urea in it, which is the most moisturizing compound that we know of. And urea is used in many cosmetics, moisturizers. So it has a lot of different uses throughout the board. It comes out antibacterial, antiviral, antiseptic, antifungal, antiparasitic. It has generally a neutral pH. There are a lot of benefits of drinking one's own urine besides re-ingesting bioavailable compounds that your body doesn't need to produce and can then recycle those. Another benefit is that it gives you a snapshot, like I said, of your body in that moment, and it gives you feedback on what's going on in your body. Let me explain that. So when I eat something that is maybe something that that I know is kind of my own cheat meal, something that I know is not the best for me, I'll taste that. I'll taste that the next morning. Say I have a big dinner, maybe there's a bunch of salt and seasonings in it. It's very complicated, lots of ingredients, sugar, oil, etc. That will be reflected in my urine the next morning without a question. And that is not the most pleasant urine to drink. But like many medicines, the medicine isn't always pleasant. But I'll tell you what, that has I believe it's called theanine. Our urine contains theanine, which is a diuretic. So that helps move things through. Things that aren't supposed to be in your body, inorganic materials, will get pulled by the urine because it's distilled and structured. So it's negatively charged and will pull positively charged things, which are inorganic materials, dead things. So that's a huge benefit. I can't overstate that, because having that feedback mechanism, it's on a different layer of knowing that this is bad for me. It's one thing to know intellectually, oh, you know what, this processed sugar, this oil, this fat, whatever, I just feel heavy and kind of crappy after I eat it, even though I enjoy eating it sometimes. But it's very clear that it's not good for my body on an experiential level, because when we ingest our urine, like I said, we're getting a snapshot of what's going on in our body. And when our urine tastes foul, well, that's what's going on in your body. That's the blood that is going through your whole body. It's foul. And it goes through the liver and kidneys to get filtered. But when I notice I eat light, maybe drink some juice, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, it tastes very pleasant, soft. So that brings me to another point, that our urine is not this static thing. It is a very dynamic substance, the way that we are dynamic, and it is constantly changing. So I could go into this in many different ways. I'm curious if anyone has any questions off the bat, and maybe we can direct it in a certain way, because there's a lot we could discuss.
One question, Bradley. You said it's filtered blood, of course, but when there's excess of it, then it comes out of the body as a pee.
Right.
So if you take it back, then it can create another excess, isn't it?
Yes, it can create another excess, but here's the thing, is that it can start pulling more stuff. It can start pulling more garbage. And so one thing that urine does is that when you drink a lot of it, it can act as a diuretic. And so if there's that much excess and it can pull a lot of bad stuff, then if there's enough bad stuff in it, it'll go out the back end and it won't come out the front end. So that excess can come out the back end with a bunch of bad stuff, or it can come back in the front. And so a lot of people will loop throughout the day. They'll just keep looping because it goes through the kidneys and livers again and only gets stronger. It gets strong. The structure gets stronger. It gets more distilled and just gets purer and purer, as it's basically cleaning your pipes. Think of your body as just a bunch of tubes and pipes, basically. And so you take it in, use what you needed, and also you're living your life. So say you have an excess, but you're going on burning calories, using hormones, using enzymes. So even though you have an excess in that moment, you might drink it again and might not have an excess in a couple hours because you used whatever you needed to use in those next couple hours. So, yes,
Yeah, and certainly it will help in alleviating the water shortage, right? If there was water shortage.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'll tell you, this is another benefit of it is it is our own perfect medicine. And I know that's hard to believe, but what better medicine than something that knows your body so intimately? And your blood is, like I said, it's the snapshot. It knows exactly what you need, how much you need of it. So, and that feedback mechanism just gets stronger and stronger as one continues practicing it. So, and there's really so many uses. We can talk about aging it. So I've got an example here. This is some urine that I just peed today, and you could see it's pretty clear, got a little bit yellow. But when you age it, see, look how dark it becomes.
Yeah.
And they get darker than this. They get black almost. So as it ages, it's a whole nother leg of urine therapy, Shivambu, because as it ages, it gets much, much stronger, way more potent. So stem cells start to grow in the urine. Okay. Like I said, the urine is a perfect substrate. It's antiviral, antiseptic, antifungal, antiparasitic, and clean, sterile. But as it ages, it starts to become ammoniacal. That's why after a few days, you start to smell ammonia, right? So things are happening with the urine. That smell will actually go away at some point. And this thing starts being chocked full of stem cells and all sorts of other goodies. And it becomes highly alkaline. If you read this on a pH strip, it would probably read at least a 13.
Wow.
Okay? It's very alkaline, very alkaline. So, and as you know, parasites, things that we don't want in our body, generally thrive in acidic environments. So when I drink some of this, and this isn't joking around, like this is powerful. This busts up mucus, biofilm. This is no joke. So that's very strong to age it. And it's a shame that people waste it, because even if you have no intention of ever practicing this, you might have plants. Plants love it. Plants love urine. Plants love aged urine. They get so much out of it. So really, most things. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Jackie.
That's okay. How do you use it? I mean, how do you drink it? I mean,
drink it. I just literally pee in it. I just pee in a jug and just drink it. That's it. Simple. Now, for a woman, you might want to get like a wide mouth ball jar or something like that. Easier for me to aim, but yeah, my partner practices it, and she
how does she collect urine?
She just uses a wide mouth ball mason jar. That's it. So yeah, this practice has been around also a very long time. This is not anything new. There's ancient texts about it written in Sanskrit that date, at least 2,000, 2,500 years old. There's a lot of literature on it. There was a man named John Armstrong in the 1900s who was curing people left and right. Wasn't a doctor, but he was putting people on urine fasts and just having them loop their urine for days and days at a time, up to 30, 45 days. And they were healing chronic illnesses. This is not a practice that resonates with everyone, obviously. It's very niche and obscure. However, it is growing. It is growing rapidly as our water supply becomes more and more tainted. There was that big documentary that just came out recently, Watch the Water, about the snake venom basically being tied to COVID and being in our water supply. I don't know if anyone saw that, but that was our water is, Nestle, companies like Nestle are buying up water rights. Clean and clear distilled water is not is not going to be easy to find, I think, in the near future, or, there's going to be a high dollar value for it. So buying a distiller can be very useful, or you could use the one that you've already got in your own body, and you even come with two of them. So even if you've already given one away or only born with one of them, you still have a distiller, you still have a kidney. So there's really so many uses for this topically. As it ages, like I said, it's so strong. It's such a strong solvent, and it's an organic solvent that can strip away inorganic materials. I mean, if you have oily skin, if your skin is dry, anything that will, you start using aged urine on it, and it will clear it right up. It will get all the dirt. It'll clean your pores through and through. This is strong stuff. I'm telling you, this is a deep rabbit hole, and it's a very empowering rabbit hole, because I mean, you don't have to rely. I haven't drank water. I can't even remember the last time I've drank water. Between the fruit I eat and drinking my own urine, I'm set. So people fast on it for long periods of time. Like I said, people do enemas with it. Most of us have plenty of extra garbage within our large and small intestines, so our colon and small intestine, and harbor a myriad of different worms and parasites, and this stuff hates it. Or they hate the aged urine. They hate the urine. So
I can share one of my experiences. This was, I think, about 5 years ago. I went to Ayurvedic center in the suburbs of Bangalore. It's a big city. So that place was in a rural setting, and there were like a forest around it. So one day I decided to take a walk in the forest. So I was maybe about 15, 20 minutes in it. And I didn't realize there was one tree with thorns, maybe inch and a half long, very big thorns. And somehow I pricked one of my fingers, and the thorn went in and came out and started bleeding this finger. And I pressed it and tried to stop the bleeding, but it wouldn't stop. It just kept bleeding. And I saw there's nobody around there. I just peed on it.
stop.
And immediately just stopped bleeding.
Right.
Immediately stopped bleeding.
Right.
And many years ago, one of my colleagues, when I was working in India, I told him that anytime you have an emergency, just remember that this can be a very powerful medicine for you. So that colleague of mine, he had gone to city of Delhi, and if you ever been there, the city bus system is horrible. It's full of people, and if you want to get on the bus, you have to literally run and grab it. So this colleague of mine, he ran to grab one of the buses. He got entangled, and he was badly bruised, bleeding. He remembered my word, and he found a quiet corner, and he put his pia all around it. And lo and behold, it was like magic, like magic.
Right. And we're told, Sri, as everyone here is told, say you get stung by a jellyfish. Oh, go ahead and pee on it. Or if you have athlete's foot, pee on your foot when you're in the shower, doctors will say. Well, the urine isn't solely for jellyfish stings or athlete's foot, it's
Right.
for all of the remedies. And it's another layer of, when these sages tell us that everything you have is within you, this is just another layer of that. Our peace is within us, our medicine is within us, everything is within us. And this is just that physical component. It's it's between that, meditation, and Paidalajin, those are probably my three top practices that will just continue, because one, they're free, they're universal, and they're not complicated to do. You just
Yes.
slap yourself, you just drink it, you just, you just sit down, do nothing. They're easy practices. And so I'm very drawn to it. When I was the first week that I started doing it, actually, I was hiking outside barefoot, and a bunch of chiggers bit my legs. And if you've If you don't know what chiggers are, they're these very small bugs that climb up, and you can't really feel them, but they burrow. They basically bore a hole into your skin and then vomit up an acid into it, and it burns. It burns like crazy. You won't notice it for the first few hours, but you'll wake up that night unable to sleep, itching like crazy. And that'll last for most people, about 7 to 14 days, chigger bites.
Wow.
And so this was driving me crazy. And I was trying all of these natural remedies, trying to make these homemade salves and whatnot, and nothing was working. I was still waking up. And then for some reason, I was already drinking my urine. I was like, why don't I just put it on topically? So it was 3 a.m. one night, and I just, peed on the spots on my legs that it was burning, and it burned like an alcohol sting for the first few seconds, and then the itching went away. And I'm trying to tell you how miraculous this was, because these itchings were driving me absolutely insane. The kind of itching where you can't stop if you tried, where your body is just like, I have to scratch this till the skin rips. It itches so much, but it just stopped within 5 seconds, and I felt relief. So that was kind of my kicker moment, where my faith became less intellectual and more experiential. And from then on, I've been a practitioner for, I guess it's almost been 4 years now. And yeah, I'm still on the cleansing journey, the journey of purification, but it is a very powerful practice. And it is available to you right now. You don't need to go on Amazon and buy anything. You don't need to go to a special seminar. You can just drink it. If you don't feel comfortable drinking it, you can just put a couple drops in your orange juice in the morning. You can put a couple drops under your tongue. You can start wherever you want to start. But I urge you to start somewhere, because it is a powerful product that is just going down the toilet. So whether you save it for your plants, whether you save it for whatever, I have a huge stash. I probably have 20 to 40 gallons of aged urine, just aging and getting better and better. And it creates its own vibration too. So imagine, like, you have sand, for example, that has its own vibration, and it can absorb a lot and clean a lot of the area around it. It's the same with the aged urine. It has its own resonance and is very powerful.
Right. It's like regenerative farming, right? You just
Right.
spread it around, it regenerates the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Bradley,
Yeah.
the longer you age the urine, the more alkaline it becomes.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
more, and then it's got, you say it gets past the ammonia smell, or it
Yes.
stops giving off ammonia.
Yes.
And then, would you, like, when would you use the fresh urine as opposed to the aged urine, or what?
I use the aged urine. Sometimes I'll just drink it straight. I might have a shot of it, or a glass of it. But I like to also do it in enemas. So I'll put, maybe just a splash of this or a little more in an enema, and that will supercharge it for sure. Because the parasites that are in the colon, and when I say we all have them, they don't like it. They don't like it at all. In fact,
Okay.
it's kind of a burning sensation sometimes as they're dying out. So yeah, the age stuff just gets very powerful, and just use it at your discretion, because it can do some work. I'll tell you that. A
So you
shot
can-
or two. I could take a
Okay.
shot or two and then be on the toilet in 30 minutes purging things from
Oh,
the back.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning. So so the urine is distilled, so it's sterile, and
Yes.
it's eliminating excess from your body, but good excess, like good
Good
stuff.
excess. And it can have trace amounts of things that we would consider bad. Okay.
Mhm.
That I want you to know that too, because the body is intelligent. It knows how to use things homeopathically. It knows how to take in those small amounts and seek out the like of those small
Mhm.
amounts and
Mhm.
suck it in. So, like I said, there's 2,000 plus identifiable compounds in urine. So there's a lot of good stuff, and there might be a little trace amounts of bad stuff too.
Yeah.
But the urine knows how to work with it and why it's in there. It's in there for a reason, basically.
Okay. Okay, and so if you ferment, like if you age the urine, which means it ferments, presumably the toxic stuff would be neutralized. I mean, usually the toxicity is acidic.
Right.
I mean, I don't
So
know if you have excess,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what.
No, that's a little bit of a debate in the urine community
Oh.
too, because as it ages, sediment starts to settle.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
and some people think that it's basically getting very clean and clear and pushing everything that it doesn't need to the edges. So it'll settle down in sediment. It'll sit on the sides of the bottle sometimes, these little particles.
Mhm.
And some people say those are good. The sediment is good. So personally, I don't think too much about it. Yeah, there's sometimes it has more sediment than others. You can see the sediment in this one. But as it settles, it becomes very clear, like very, very clear.
Okay.
And I've drank the sediment. People have even smoked the sediment, honestly. People think it's dimethyltryptamine. Some people.
Okay, well, some people smoke anything, but.
That's right. That's right. Another thing to do is you can drink it through the sinuses. A lot of people drink it through the sinuses as a way of cleaning the sinuses out. You can do a neti pot with it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll use aged urine and I'll get it down on my knees and put my head down to the ground and put a dropper in on each nostril, and that will clear the cerebral pathway. Actually, it's actually a very intense experience, but very cleansing as well. Eardrops, eye drops, very nice to use in eye drops.
Say that again about you go upside down?
Yeah, so I get down on my knees and put my head down on the ground and then put a dropper full in each nostril. And because my head is upside down, all of it goes through my sinuses up into my skull and all the way back to the crown. And wow, after that, I feel invigorated, to say the least.
Like Superman?
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah, very clear. It's painful. I'll tell you what, like most of us here practice pytologine, and I've already started, altering our relationship with pain. So there are a lot of things within us that aren't us. We have all sorts of little beings within us. And that pain, a lot of it comes from when it comes into contact with this. So
what about using the neti pot just on a general basis? How old of a urine?
I'd be yeah, anything over 4 days you want to be cautious of, because it's strong. It's really strong stuff. And even your fresh, depending on what you're eating, where your system's at, try it fresh. When in doubt, try it fresh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because fresh is always going to be a milder experience.
Okay.
You could use it on our shawl.
Absolutely.
First we do pita and then we put the urine on.
Absolutely.
Oh man. That's combining two crazies, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exponentially crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a tough program. This is a tough program to get past, because it's very intertwined, that what comes out the front and what comes out the back are both elimination. But let me ask you a question and put your logic to test. Can your back end, have you ever had diarrhea at the back end? You have, right? You know that channel knows how to get rid of liquid. It can certainly get rid of liquid. So why do you need this whole other channel in the front for liquid when you know you can get rid of liquid in the back? Okay, this in the front is a totally different process. And let me ask you this. Everything else, that when we think of gold, we have such a good idea of what it is. It's valuable, right? When we think of gold. But yet we're peeing gold and we think it's disgusting. So we have been tricked in many ways to think that this is a waste product.
In every way. It's so far against what we like you said, what we're used to, what we've been programmed for. That
Right.
it's just every time I stumble upon something like this, I'm just blown away. I'm like, why has this been covered up for so long when it's so important?
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, because of its efficacy, the things that are most effective, the most effort gets put into concealing them.
Man alive.
So the other question, right? So the mother's milk is also filtered blood, right?
Right.
And then you have
Yeah, and
urine, which is filtered blood. So are they mixed together when the child drinks it?
Well,
Drinks the,
here's a good. So actually, you already have been practicing urine therapy, each and every one of you, because the amniotic sac that you're in, the amniotic fluid, that's urine. After 20 weeks, you're just drinking and looping your own urine. And they actually have footage now of the babies in the sac, and they're taking big gulps of their urine and just looping through it because things can grow in it. Like if I were to leave this open, this aged urine bottle, I close them just so you know, you would see all sorts of things start growing in here. Little worms would start growing because it provides life. Things love this. I open this from 20 feet away from the chickens in my yard, and they smell it and come running. They don't know what it is, but they smell it and come running, knowing it's good for them. So, and it's potent. Even just smelling this can clear one's sinuses. It's potent.
but Shri or everybody, the mother's milk, it's, when I had my kids, my mother-in-law told, you would put, she told me to put the breast milk on the baby's rashes. If anybody had a cut, my mother-in-law would get breast milk to put on the cut, or if there was a rash anywhere, like not just the babies, but even in people. And it really opened my eyes to, oh my God, like the properties of breast milk were amazing. And I think urine is the same thing,
Right.
really, right?
And again, like they come out the front, it comes out the breast, it comes out, our genitalia, it comes out the front. The
Mhm.
way we are designed as humans is perfect in every way. There's a reason for everything in the way we're designed. And so just the more I started questioning, the more it became obvious, okay, wow, and the more I started feeling the effects, because you can't not feel the effects. It's extremely empowering, one, to drink your own medicine. And two, because our ego's programming is so strong that it's a waste, part of your ego has to die and be dissolved with this practice.
right.
Because it's like on some level, the ego can no longer take itself seriously if it's drinking its own pee, because it's already created this program that, how could you take anything seriously? Someone drinking their own pee, Yeah, so the ego definitely takes a shot with this practice, without question.
I mean, so one of the Indian prime ministers, I mean, he came out in the open that he does the urine therapy himself.
Right, that's the 70s.
Yeah, and of course, he lived up to the age of 99 or something. And he was ridiculed in the media all over. But of course, he was the prime minister of the country. And he was so really, they have created, I mean, all these practices, some good things. I know in ancient India, this was a normal thing. So when all these monks, they were doing their practices or sadhanas in the forest, and there's no lake around, maybe there were no rivers around, and they'll just use this. And the food, they'll eat some roots or leaves. They knew these are edible, and they'll give them enough nutrition. That's what they used to do. They still do it now. In remote hills and other places, that's what they do. So, and using just the power of the body itself to sustain itself. It is so amazing. The other thing in Indian system, Ayurveda, the cow's pee is much more powerful than your own pee. Several times. This is the Indian native cows, not the one that you find here in the West. So that urine is very powerful, and they use it in the medicine to make the medicine, and they suggest to so many difficult diseases, they ask patients to drink it, really.
Right.
Get hold of it. from a
It's
cow.
also in the scriptures of the Buddha as well. He would tell the monks, all you need is a tree to sleep in, a rag to dress yourself in, and fermented urine for your medicine. That's all you need as a monk.
Yeah, exactly. And if your mosquitoes are biting you, you just apply it
Yep.
and that's it. Because in the forest, when you're there, there's no way mosquitoes will not bite you. Whether it's summer or winter, they will be there. I mean, I've lived in India, so they're all over, everywhere. Even here, all over. I mean, you go outside the house, it's full of mosquitoes.
It's true. So does anyone have any questions? I'm very curious.
Is there any, are there any other, where should I go to learn more?
Yes. Okay. I can maybe I'll shoot some resources to Shri and he can send them out as a follow-up on that list. Or what do you think, Shri? What's the best way?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
that would be
send
great.
there's some books available. There's also a website that has a bunch of information. So yeah, I'll put that together.
Thanks.
after.
I mean, I've talked to Siren, sent me a sheet, me and Joanne, about the using a drop of urine and then succussing it in a certain amount of times or whatever, and then transfer that amount to another glass or something.
Honestly, it doesn't have to be that complicated. You just drink it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. People will use it homeopathically.
That's what I mean.
Right. And you can certainly do that. And that's a great starter. But basically, the more we resist it, that will mirror how much we're not accepting of ourselves.
Hmm.
And so the more we start to practice it, the more accepting we become of ourselves. Because we are literally ingesting ourselves again and again.
Yeah, keep it very natural. That's what you're saying, Bradley. Just keep it very
Right, that's what
natural, simple, natural.
Right. Exactly.
No processing of any kind.
Right. Imagine you just have your medicine on tap, basically. You know? And you're the tap.
Well, the way you explain it is very reasonable, you know, but then I'll be back with my own brain here in a minute when we hang up.
Sure.
Well,
And
I mean, if
all I
you
can
could
say
slap
is-
yourself, if you could
Yeah.
slap yourself, this is
Oh.
not too far off. I mean, who thought we would be slapping ourselves
Oh,
black
man.
and blue?
You should see your back of my knee. Woo, from today.
My thighs, yeah, okay, I missed today, sorry.
Right.
I'm
So we
sorry.
were taught that the pain was bad, and so we avoided it. And we were taught that urine was waste, so we avoided it.
Wow.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, yeah, and the bruising is bad and all that is bad, right?
It's just
And scary,
mind-boggling.
it's scary.
Mind-boggling to me that this could be helping me.
And you don't need to buy any soap, right? This is the best
Right.
soap that you got.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Say
It's
more about
cool
that.
moisturizing. People will spend hundreds of dollars on these cosmetics and
Yeah,
moisturizers.
let's talk about wrinkles, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So wrinkles, all wrinkles are dehydrated skin. That's it. That's all it is. And so you're not getting hydration to those parts that are wrinkled. Okay. Now you can get hydration to your body better by cleaning out your small intestine, by cleaning out your colon and doing that. Or you can just put aged urine right on it topically, and that will hydrate the skin. You'll see it. It will absorb right into it. Just massage it in, it'll absorb, and you can just do layer after layer of that and just keep hydrating over and over. You could just make it a nightly ritual, whatever you need. I like to do it at night because aged urine can be offensively smelling to people. And again, it smells to other people because of the parasites in them. They think it smells bad because, well, they've got things that don't like it within them. But actually it can start to take on a floral scent after it gets really old, and smell quite pleasant. So anyways, my point is it doesn't smell by morning. If you rub it on your body at night, let it soak in, it doesn't smell by morning.
Yeah, it's
So-
very interesting because this nature cure course that is going on. So one thing he suggests, this water, how much water should we drink, right? And like every day, so many ounces per kilo of weight, et cetera, right?
I'm
2
listening.
liters and 3 liters a day. What he says is, all you have to do is, when you're thirsty, not otherwise, whenever you're thirsty, just sip by sip. And a few sips, you'll be done. So there will never be excess of water in the body. Because he says the kidneys are designed to last so many gallons of water in the lifetime. So the more water you consume, the more stress you place on the kidneys, plus the other parts of the body, just like Bradley is saying, it is the excess that is coming out. So kidneys don't have to take out so much excess, only a small amount whenever it's required. So he just says, just sip by sip, that's it. Very little. You don't have to drink these gallons of water every day. I mean, I go to the gym and people have these big gallons of water and wow, they
Never mind the gym. Never mind the gym. They have big gallons of water in their offices, doing nothing, drinking all day.
Yeah, you just putting more stress on the
It's
body.
stressing
That's
the
all it is.
kidneys. It's really stresses
Right.
the kidneys. Yeah.
That's exactly right, because
Exactly.
it's foreign. It's a foreign substance, and anytime something foreign comes in, the body has to assimilate it and figure out what the heck is this? What am I doing with this? How do I process this? But when you drink your urine, it knows exactly what it is. It knows exactly where it came from. It knows exactly what to do with it.
Yeah, because it created it, right? The body
right.
created it at that particular instance. Yeah.
So I will say that this is going to be more and more popular without question. Like all of these practices are burgeoning because people are awakening to their own truth due to the contrast of the world we live in. This will become more popularized, and it already is. I've seen it grow just in the past few years immensely. I'm part of many groups and communities that practice it, and to see it grow like it's been growing is quite remarkable. Actually, a show, a TLC show, My Strange Addiction, tried to cast me and my partner Rachel for urine therapy, and they were going to come out here and film for a few days, but we ended up declining them because it's a long story, but I didn't feel right about it.
Well, they would try to make you look crazy. Don't ever get on those shows.
That's pretty much what it boiled down to. There's other people on that show that are doing legitimately ridiculous things.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be in the same camp as those and deface what this practice is, because this practice it's something else. I'm telling you, this is a very powerful practice, and it will clean you out. It just starts cleaning you out, hydrating you, pulling all the nasty stuff. Now, that being said, like anything, it might not be the most pleasant at times. I drink it every morning, and that's probably a great way to start, is to drink it in the morning, because all of these hormones and vitamins that your body has been accumulating and creating throughout the night is readily available for you in that morning. So that's generally if a person practices it, they definitely drink the morning one. That's a very powerful one. So, but yeah, you can mix it in your orange juice. You can, you don't have to drink it straight up. You can be gentle moving into it if it's something you're resonating with, or you just want to try it to see. You're not going to gag. If you do, you might gag, but you probably won't, honestly. Most people end up trying it and thinking, wow, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So
what about the theory though, and
let's hear it.
other detox type of doctors or verbiage that you hear, that you're full of toxins at night, and so you have to drink this much water to get rid of them first thing in the morning?
Well, that may be true. You might be full of more toxins. You might have had a big meal at night, and you're full of a bunch of foreign substances that your body's trying to process and assimilate. So there's validity to that. But again, we've got the channel for getting rid of bad stuff in the back end. What comes out the front end is not the same that comes out the back end. So again, that question implies that what's coming out the front is a waste. And I'm saying that's not the case.
Okay.
Yeah,
but if you drink it in the morning and had a big meal the night before, then it might cause you to go take a shit. It has thiamine in it, which is a diuretic. It might cause things to just get moving right away because it can start hydrating things, and it wants, everything that comes in our body's immediately trying to get it the heck out. And so
Mm.
the urine just helps it get out. It helps it get out.
Fascinating.
It
I
really,
really like the concept you just said about everything that goes into your body has to deal with and assimilate and get rid of. So that takes, well, this is probably beyond the scope of tonight's lecture, but that kind of takes us into like, what is the purpose of food, or where do we take our nourishment from, or where do we take our, there's other sort, I mean, the sun is a source of nutrition, and the environment is a source of nutrition without taxing the body.
this
Do you
is
know
a
what
source
I'm
of
getting
nutrition.
at? Hmm?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The nutrition goes
Yeah.
all the way from the grossest things to the subtlest thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This basically what this does is this is a feedback mechanism to help move you out of the gross though and into more and more subtle nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just because since
Love on the
COVID,
bed.
since I've been stuck at home for 2 years, basically, and cooking for myself every day, I'm finding that I'm eating less and less and less, mainly because I'm tired of cooking. And the less I eat, nothing happens. Like, it's not like I lose weight or I become emaciated or anything like that. I can skip meals or have very little in one day. So I'm finding this very fascinating, having been obsessed with food for the past, 30 years. So this is very interesting what you're saying.
Absolutely. And I think most people who are on this path are interested in food and obsessed with food. And really, I think it's not that we're obsessed with food. We're obsessed with understanding our own consumption patterns and what it means to consume, and trying to constantly tinker with, okay, my experience is not so great right now. Maybe it has something to do with what I'm consuming, how I'm consuming. Maybe it's the television shows I'm consuming. Maybe it's the people, my friends that I'm consuming, all of these different aspects of consumption that are not even related to food, or at least in the physical sense. So yeah, this whole path for me is me questioning my consumption patterns, me eliminating things that aren't serving me. And the urine has provided me this free, universal, powerful tool to know what's good for me, what's not, and keep me afloat. That's the thing. I'm not worried about going back. I've had terrible relationships with food, binging, food addictions, and urine keeps me afloat in the tough times. No matter how much bad it gets, I'm going to drink it the next morning, and it might taste terrible, but it's going to push things out of me and get things moving and get me afloat. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes just starting a day or two of bad patterns can lead to months, years of bad patterns. Just that one day, that one decision.
That's for
And
The
sure.
old pendulum,
helps
the old
reset.
pendulum, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a huge reset that I can practice every day, and no one can take it away from me.
Wow.
All I need is a cup. That's it. That's all I need. That's the Holy Grail. They talk about the Holy Grail, the chalice of immortality. It's not what's in the cup. It's the fact that you have a cup. That's it.
Wow.
And just also remember, Lajin and this Shivambu therapy, no government can take it away from you. It's so personal, right?
That's right. That's right. And that's why we resonate with them.
Yeah, it's totally
Because
free.
the government may take things away from us. Who knows?
Like stinky.
Yeah, that's what their plan is, to take everything away. But these,
like-
they cannot.
Skunk stinks.
Yeah.
So, any more questions, y'all? We're about at an hour here.
We can, hey, Joanne,
Yes.
you want to mute?
There she goes.
She's on mute. Joanne is on mute.
There. I have my granddaughter here and I forgotten. So I am here, but I'm so sorry I missed it because I've done urine therapy and I was drinking I was a morning urine, not a whole cup, but I would like take a sip. And I used it for the nose thing,
The neti pot.
the neti pot and the eye wash. I did it in my hair a couple times, but that got too stinky. But I hear that that's supposed to help regrow your hair and if you do it consistently, it can get the gray out. And then if you drink, so what were you saying when you drink it in the morning? You do the morning urine?
Oh, I
thought
was
that-
just saying that that's a particularly potent urine in the morning because
That's what I
it's
thought.
chocked full of all of the things that were going on in your body the night prior.
And then it helps to re-regulate stuff in your, like your hormones or,
Absolutely. Yep.
I was gonna ask. I've even heard of the book that I got. I have two of them. They said one of them, I think this one woman, she actually cured her cancer from drinking urine every day. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty.
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Well, your urine will keep things in check. So
Let me start.
basically, wherever you start, it's going to be hard to get worse from where you are when you start. You're
So did-
generally gonna start getting better.
So did you do, I thought you were the one who was going to do like a water fast, except that water, it was urine. Is that, did you do that? Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember talking about that on here, but yeah, that's something I've done. Yeah, I've done water fast, urine fast, dry fasts. All
Oh,
that
you
kind of
have,
stuff.
you've done all of those, okay. And it has helped you as far as, whatever physical ailments that you had? Did it clear?
Yeah,
it?
and I don't have anything terrible right now, but fasting in general, whether it's any type of fasting, is just always helps me reset and
And
re-clarify.
so how many days did you fast?
With urine, I haven't fasted that many. I've fasted 33 days with water. I've fasted like 2 months on liquids. I've done dry fasting for like 5 days, couple 5 days.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm pretty extreme. But yeah, I mean, you could start doing a lot of work just by drinking, honestly, just drinking the urine. And
This is the morning urine?
yeah, but looping it throughout the day is something that a lot of people do as well. It keeps them strong throughout the day, or looping until whenever they want to break fast. I don't even drink water anymore, honestly. I haven't drank water in a long time. And
Really?
I'm very hydrated. Yeah. I just drink my own. I mean, I drink my own water, I should say. I don't drink just like plain distilled water.
So, Jackie and I had learned how to succuss urine, where you get a little bit, maybe, it's only maybe a,
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the
the,
process.
the
Yeah.
succussing, and you dump it out and you add more water. And that is actually, it's like a homeopathic, so you're just getting the essence of the urine, and you're doing it so many times that, I mean, you don't taste it at all. It's just clear water, but you're just drinking the essence of the urine, which can be even more potent than straight urine.
I would say no. I would say that's a good starter. But there's not going to be a substitute for the actual hormones, vitamins, and minerals that are in the substance itself. So you might be able to extract the essence, and then your body might still get the information of what to do, but you're not putting the actual substance back in. Therefore, your body may know what to do homeopathically, but it's still going to need to start producing those hormones and enzymes to start working with that blueprint. But if you just take it right back in, then it has the blueprint and the materials to work.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not bashing it at all. Yeah, I'd rather take the materials and the blueprint back with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'll listen to the recording. You recorded this, right? Oh, yeah, I see it.
yes, the recording is going on right now. So
I'll
I
listen to
think
it.
we have just completed an hour. This has been a very interesting discussion. And of course,
So
I have
sorry,
learned a
I
lot, and this is a powerful technique, very, very powerful technique. And of course, in our group, we want to share our knowledge so that everybody else can learn from it. And plus, of course, we started recording, so many more people come in our website, and then they learn from these videos. So Bradley, thank you so much for leading
Thank
this
you.
Thanks, Bradley.
discussion.
That was really good.
So nice seeing all of you. These are the
Thanks,
exact
Brad.
people
That
I
was
wanted to
cool,
hear.
man.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.